Hello. It is Monday, October 5th of 2020. Only 2 months left in this year and we're over the hump, right? 2 months. We got to get there. Okay. I see some people have arrived early. Derek Pro checking in. Jeff Reynolds checking in. And Crash Rider coming in from Southern Indiana. Awesome. And let's see. I know Derek is from Australia and Jeff is from the UK. Nandu is here. Glad you're here. Dave Britton. I said it. Dave Britton is here. Glad you're here. Andrew from Grease Rookie Garage is here. Thumbs up to that. 68 Stang is here. Glad you're here. And that should be Reese, I believe, if I remember correctly. Jeff Rice checking in. Awesome. Looks like we have 20 viewers already, which is great. And I'm sure that number will fluctuate as we go along. Car Guy Troy checking in from Utah. Harvey from Rally Cat Garage. Glad you're here, Harvey. Jack W checking in. Glad you're here, Jack. Hope you're making progress on that fastback. Haven't seen anything in a while, but I hope to see some updates from you very soon if you are. So, as I said, Jeff Reynolds, good. Yeah, I saw where Derek was apparently, what do you say, an hour early? Because he's on daylight savings time in Australia. I guess I didn't know they did that in Australia as well. I thought the United States was the only country that's goofy enough to do daylight savings time to this day. It was a good idea a long time ago, but I don't think it's a good idea anymore. I wish we would stop doing it. It doesn't make any sense anymore, and it just messes everybody up, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident the bulk of the population is in agreement with me. So, Amso is checking in. Bob Shoemaker from Oklahoma. And yeah, Derek says, how ironic. Yes. Yeah, the daylight savings time, I forget what year. I know they shortened it up a few years ago that, it used to run earlier in the year and then, they started earlier in the year, then end later, but I know they adjusted it. I don't know what it is anymore. I just hate it with a passion. See, Derek agrees. Dave agrees. JB Coppage, sorry. I'm with you on that. Well, thank you for that. That's the first I've seen JB's name. I'll give you a bell just for that. Sammy Lisa Smith. Hello, friends. Hello. And Dave Conville checking in. Glad you're here, Dave. Yeah, but daylight savings time, like I said, I don't even know what it is in the United States because they moved it a few times or something. And I just hate it. Now, of course, in retirement mode, I don't have to necessarily deal with that. But, I still have to deal with it. My wife has been, she now has a full-time job, basically. She is babysitting our grandson during the week. So she gets up pretty early in the morning to get to our son's house so that they can go and do their regular job. So I'm sure it's going to affect me because when her alarm clock goes off, it forces me to have to get up and start moving. And I've gotten pretty used to just getting up to the sunlight, which I really like. Feels really good. Let's see. Jeff is saying we Brits love British summertime. Well, I'm sure. 68 Stang, especially on a school night, Reese says. Yes, I'm sure. Jack says he's still figuring out this welding thing. Well, you'll get there one way or another. DST agreed, needs to end. Yes. Wally of the North. Haven't heard from Wally in a while. Glad you're here. Derek Pro, I leave the clocks on the wall alone now. Don't bother changing them. Too hard to pull off the walls without searching everything. Or scratching. I guess that's scratching everything. Dave Britton. They found that daylight savings time actually kills people due to schedule changes that mess with their sleep. I agree with that. It's we don't need it anymore. We just don't need it. There's no value in it, in my opinion. If we can't have the people that need to get up early to, like, from what I understood, I may be wrong. From what I understood, daylight savings time was initiated for like farmers. so that they could synchronize with the clocks or the sun coming up better, so they could take care of the animals and all that sort of thing. That's my understanding. If that's the point, or that's the case, we're well beyond that. All you have to do is set your clock to a different time and just get up. Farmers get up. They know they have to get up. Michael Law, happy Monday, climb to glory. Right of the line, brother. Right of the line. Shelby and Jason checking in. That's. I'll give you 2 bells. If it's both of you, you get 2 bells. Randall Heath, hi from Mountain Green, Utah. Glad you're here. Dave Conville, Jack W. would be making more welding progress if he didn't leave his wire spools at work. I agree with that. Scott Keeney, hello from the UAE. Well, I'm glad you're here, Scott. Derek, with all the stuff going on at the moment, we needed an hour less sleep like a hole in the head. Yeah, exactly. Michael Law, why do you care as a farmer what time it is? That's what roosters are for. Well, somewhat. I mean, I've heard roosters crowing at night, so can't count on the rooster, but I do count on the clock. And Michael, you would know, being a military guy, that time is of the essence. No matter what we did in the military, it was, time, especially an infantry soldier. Movements or actions or whatever, fire sequences and all that stuff, all had time involved with it. So Nick Pixel TV checking in, $4.99 super sticker. Thank you for that, Nick. I appreciate that very much. That's awesome. I hope things are going well for you. Let's see. 68, just had my first experience with rebuilding drum brakes, also aiming for a first start this weekend. Well, that's a plus. That's a big plus. Robert Adams checking in. Again, Robert has his YouTube channel going now, The Infernal Craftsman. If you haven't seen it yet, go check that out. Yes, Michael, absolutely. Barry, I was teasing. They don't call it BST for nothing. BST. BST? Okay. Oh, is that your British summertime? That's awesome. British summertime. Okay. Yeah, Reese, I had seen where you had put the you had pictures on Instagram of you doing the drum brakes, and that's good. Because I know you're young, but I'm glad that you're tackling that stuff, because not everybody, especially your age, is going to be interested or even understand the concept of drum brakes. So I'm glad you got it figured out and got it together. That's a really good thing. Sketchy Ride. Tell us about the career that you just retired from. Love to hear about it if you don't mind telling. Oh, I can talk about that. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Robert Adams sent back the camera as too many issues looking for a replacement. Okay, good. Well, I mean, like I said, and I'm not joking. Start with this. Nice, little, cheap, handheld. This is a Kodak Pix Pro FZ53, blah, blah, blah. I shot a lot of videos with this thing, and it worked great. Had a stabilizer built in, I believe, and it just sits there on my desk taking up space at the moment, but it does a great job. Harvey saying, great job on the videos to Robert. And Robert says, I'm trying. Takes time to get it sorted out. Yes, it does. And as evidence of that, I want to point out that if you didn't see it already, I put out another video today. I posted it today. And it was it was kind of a redo, let's say. Back in 2014, when I was still adjusting to how to make good videos and how to explain things a little bit and show the work and stuff like that, I did a video on my daughter's Kia Sportage, 2007 Kia Sportage. And when I did that, I replaced the hub on the left rear. That was like the only thing wrong with the vehicle when I bought it. So I replaced the left rear hub on that thing. I didn't do the bearing, I did the hub. And let me tell you, it's probably the easiest repair job in that aspect that I've seen. Literally, if you can get the rotor off, you can get the hub off and put it back on. There's no series of bolts. It has a center axle. The hub slides on the center axle, and it has a retaining nut, big locking nut. Well, when I did the video in 2014, it went so smooth that I didn't film the process. I was like, oh, I probably should have filmed this. I probably should have done a video. So somewhat in, I don't want to say panic mode, but hindsight, I shot the video, but the video is only 4 minutes long in 2014. And basically I just kind of point at things and say, if you take off the caliper and this and the rotor, this is where the hub mounts. You take this off and put the new one on and put it back together. It was a really bad video. And out of my videos, that one probably has like the proportions of likes to dislikes, except for the guy, like that video I posted today, it didn't even get like 1 minute up and already had a thumbs down. So I know that, I have people like that they just want to put a thumbs down on my videos, and that's fine. I get it. They have issues. But in this case, that video had like 159 likes and 104 dislikes, which for me, that's a big difference, because normally I'm running probably 95 to 100% likes on my videos. And so that has bothered me actually for quite some time. Well, the bearing went bad again. So I thought, I'm going to do it right this time. And so it's a 20-minute video, but I go through every single step and I show it everything except for putting the wheel back on, which if you can't handle that, you shouldn't probably be working on these things. But, showed why the bearing was bad, showed how to pull everything apart, even showed how to compress the brake caliper that I normally show with a brake service, and, put everything back together. So hopefully that's kind of a redemption for that poor video that I did. Now, I also left the first video up. I probably could take it down, but I referenced it in the video that I made. And I've already had some people go, I went and watched that video. You're right. It was bad. So anyway, that's why, you're talking about, Robert, taking your time, getting things sorted out. Let that be an example to you. So go watch that other video and go, what? And then watch the latest video and go, that's the way it's supposed to be done. So anyway, just some thought. Robert said, never expect it to be easy. Yep. Crafty Cousins, Shelby checking in. Glad you're here. Randall Heath, no turning back now. I removed the roof from a 67 Cougar this weekend. Took about 6 hours to mount out the solder joint and drill out spot welds. Also removed roof support because it was mangled. Well, that's you get a bell for that effort. That's not an easy job. So I'm glad you got that apart. So hopefully everything goes back together now. That's more important. 777. Hello all. We have a huge car show on the Gulf Coast going all week. Yeah, I know. And I want to make plans to go to that car show at some point in the future. I mentioned that to I think my kids or somebody and my wife, and I said one of my friends is there who is into Mopars. So I know he's there, and I think a couple other people that are with him have gone as well. And I told my wife, I said, we need to get the Mustang done and take it to the Cruising in the Coast next year. And she didn't really, apparently wasn't really listening to what I was saying when I was telling everybody else in the conversation. She said, which coast, east or west? And I said, neither. The Gulf Coast. And she was like, oh, well, okay. So who knows? Maybe if we can get the 68 done, get Jade done, we could take it to the Cruising in the Coast next year. That would be pretty cool. A little coffee. All right. Jorge, nice hat. Yep. Thank you. That is one of Jorge's hats that he sent me. Figured tonight was a good night to wear that. 68 Stang H2OI? H2OI. What are you trying to say, Reese? H2OI. I don't know what that means. Are you using some young guy's term on me that I don't understand? Not fair. Robert, the roof is the only piece of sheet metal I don't plan on replacing on the 66. Yeah. I don't blame you there. Cooter Lev checking in. Got my 66 Mustang 36 years ago today. Been driving it around all day for no reason but to enjoy the fall weather. The inline six is a great little motor and still runs great. Awesome. Awesome. All right, let me see here. M.I.M. So, Bear, did you get your new to you Mustang home? Nope. I talked about it on Thursday. The car I was talking about, the guy had it listed for like $1,500. 6-cylinder car, no drivetrain. And pictures were pretty misleading, as it is normally the case. And initially, I had messaged him a month or so ago, and then I kept following the car, waiting to see if it was going to be, active or come up or whatever. And he dropped the price a little bit. So I made him an offer on the car. I think I told him $1,000. And I said, would you sell it for that? And he said, yeah, come get it tomorrow. I was like, he wants rid of this car pretty bad. So then he sent me some more pictures, and I was like, this is a lot worse than I thought. Then he said he would throw in a 302 and a automatic transmission out of a mid-'80s Ford truck. And I assumed he meant like an assembled, just pulled it out of a truck and it's sitting on the floor. And anyway, so I went and I actually hooked up the trailer. My buddy next door has a trailer I use occasionally, and hooked up the trailer and drove over there, had cash in the pocket, and started looking at the car. And it was not good. The more I looked at it, the worse it got. It was wedged into a garage and had like miscellaneous junk. I don't even know what I could claim as what's good or bad. Just random, literal junk all the way around the car. And he offered to roll it out, and I said, no, I can look at it and see if it's worth my time. So I started looking at it, and immediately I saw the cowl. Front edge of the cowl was rusted off, and he didn't send me those pictures. So I knew the cowl was bad. I knew the floors were bad. That was, a given. Passenger fender had a big chunk missing out of it. Passenger door had a big Bondo patch. Front corner of the door was rotted off. And the door itself was overlapping the quarter panel. So something was really messed up there. Quarter panel had filler in it, both of them. The driver's door had issues. I think the best part on the whole car was the left front fender. So, and the deck lid. Had a good deck lid. Maybe the tail panel. And so I looked it over and I was like, I can't buy this car. And he said, well, what do you give me for it? And I said, I don't even want to make you an offer. Because I said, well, do you have the grill? Do you have the headlight stuff? Do you have any of the front pieces? What do you have of the interior? Because it had he had the seats, but like there was so many pieces missing. There was trim missing from the entire car. There was no front end beyond the core support. And I mean, it was just, and all that stuff was just bad up front. And I just said, I just can't. I just don't have any interest in it. And finally he was like, well, just shoot me a number. And I said, I'll give you $300 for it. And even then, like I said, the only thing I'd really gain is a fender and a deck lid, maybe a couple odds and ends. But he said he couldn't sell it for that. And I said, well, sorry, not going to get it. And I asked him what he had in it. Well, he started to say $500, and then he said $600 towing it to where his place. And I was like, yeah, no, not going to happen. Sorry. So that's what happened to the other Mustang. It's still, I think it's still for sale on Facebook. So Sammy Lisa Smith, I changed one of my wife's cousin's Scion mashed. What? Oh, I changed one on my wife's Scion, mashed my finger. I would have cried, but my wife was there. Yeah, you can't do that. Nope. You can grunt, you can groan, you can grit your teeth, but no, you can't. No crying. Randall, does anyone know if the roof support was originally installed before the roof skin was installed or was installed after the roof skin was installed? It seems like I'll get a better fit if installed after. That's a good question. I would think it would have to go on before. I would think. I don't see how you could do it otherwise. But it's a Cougar, so I don't know if they've done different things. I know on like the '68 Camaro that I need to work on, all the roof supports attach to the perimeter of the car above the doors. Those attach first, and then the roof panel sits on top. I know it's a Chevy, different car, but I'm just saying. Okay. So Reese, you're saying that's the name of the car show. Okay. H2OI. I guess I'll take your word for it because I don't know. Let's see. Pedro Barbosa. Hi, Barry. Thank you for your tips on slow welding, letting it cool down. I think I'm a little better at it now. Cheers from Portugal. Good. I'm glad you took my advice. Yep. That'll be a great series. Derek Pro. A lot more 6-cylinder Mustangs popping up for sale here lately. Very high prices, though. Yeah. And, that's the thing. I've been seeing that, too. I mean, probably 2 out of every 10 cars I see for sale now on Marketplace are V8 cars. So, it's just becoming, what are we going to do? Trying to find the V8 car for a deal, which may not happen. BK Woods checking in. Glad you're here. Winged Warrior. Dave here. Glad you're here, Dave. Let's see. I'm going to have to send Dave an invite here in a little bit. Sorry. I had another email come in. So if you want to send me an email, we can get you on and you can talk about some of the things you mentioned before. Derek, was it as bad as a Brooklyn Pony? No, it wasn't breaking in half, but it was pretty rough. For that price, it was just pretty rough. Crafty Cousins. Oh, it's Shelby, 11-year-old girl with a 68 coupe. Okay, now I get it. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. I sent her. I know we got that email going earlier today with the videos that we talked about, and I had to get a permission. So I don't know if I got sent back. I think I did. I think I got a permission back. So I have to look at those videos then. Glad you're here, Shelby. Glad you're here. I'm looking forward to what you have made. And I'll give everybody a heads up. I'm going to be making another Viewers Project video, and it is going to be on a 68 coupe, and Shelby is going to be part of that. So I need to get that looked at and try to get it processed. So, all right. Jorge needs to go already. All right. Well, I guess I can take the hat off then and go to another one, right? Dave Britton, shorter list saying what is right with it. LOL. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. A good fender and a good deck lid. Robert, was it worse than the 66 I just sent you a link to? I don't know. Did you send? Oh. I'll just take a quick glance at that. Oh, yeah, that's pretty rough looking, Robert. It's probably comparable. Honestly. Yeah, probably comparable. Jeff Reynolds. Barry, you done 0 to 60 tonight in less than 20 minutes. Yep. That's awesome. Hope we can keep that up. All right. 777. The show here is called Cruising the Coast 2020. Yep. Yeah, I hope to make it there. One day. I hope to make it there. And I want to talk more about car shows and stuff here as well. Dave Britton, I hate any of them going to the crusher though. Yeah. I mean, I did scrap out that 66, that one, with it cut up with a plasma cutter, but I salvaged what I could out of it. So parts of it are going to live on, but there wasn't much to save. It was just that that one had been rear-ended. The frame rails were buckled. Wasn't not much to save. Plus the gentleman who gave me that car had already cut out tons of parts out of that car. So it's living on through his son's car. That was one of the first roadshow viewer projects videos that I did with that red Mustang, father and son project. Randall, I remove the roof support from donor with the roof installed. The welds are on inside of the support structure and can be welded after the roof is in place. Just fishing for any info that will help. Yeah, well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I wish I had a better answer for you. Hello from Pinellas Park, Florida. Well, hello, Terry. Glad you're here. H201 is the car show in Ocean City, Maryland. Okay. Cops always write tons and tons of tickets. Yeah, the cruising in the coast that I'm referring to is the Gulf Coast. Coastal, I don't know exactly where it runs. I know it's in, I guess, Mississippi or Texas. I don't know. I don't know where it starts and where it finishes, but it's supposed to run the Gulf Coast. So, yeah, Jeff. Yeah, I'd much rather be here. So since it was brought up about the car shows and stuff, okay, I'm gonna get Dave on in a little bit. I'll send you a link, Dave, and then we'll get you on. So just bear with me as we go through this. But I wanted to mention that this past weekend, that local community here has a cruise in at the local pizza joint, and they've been doing it for years. And they have, you might have, depending on the time of the year or whatever, the weather, they might have 30 cars, 50 cars. I've seen 100 cars, and a variety of stuff. And I've posted a bunch of pictures of those cars on my Facebook page. I have an album called Car Cruise 2020 or something like that. So every time I went to the cruise, I tried to take a picture of cars that I hadn't seen before, or a unique car that I could, share. This past week, there were several unique cars, and one of them was a '59 Ford Skyliner, which is the car that has the roof that is a metal roof that folds into the trunk, so it becomes a convertible. And I had looked at those before, but never really did a close look. And I realized that thing is ridiculously complex, because the actions are, I didn't realize that the trunk lid, I think it's motorized. Of course, the whole roof structure, double pivot points, and the front of the roof drops like about probably 8 or 10 inches of it drops down like this, so that it'll fit behind a seat. And it is just super complicated. And when I started looking at it even more, I couldn't imagine how the engineers thought this was a good idea, because this car is huge. And by the time you're done, the trunk space, which I took pictures of, that people had some suitcases in the trunk where there's a box like this big, like maybe 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet. That's your trunk space. And so that's where you can put your suitcases. And that's it. Everything else is hydraulic cylinders, scissor arms, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And anyway, along with that, it has a cable-driven screw jack system. And I showed the pictures. I didn't realize this. I thought that the trunk lid would just shut, and maybe you had to get out and push on it, to click the latches. But no. There's a cable system, and it drives worm gears, and there's screws like a bolt mounted on the underside about maybe halfway or up or further on the deck lid. These boxes that have a screw post sticking out, a bolt post, and the thing's like, probably a good 1/2 inch or better, maybe 5/8 bolt, that is cable driven. So whenever the deck lid closes, I guess in the process, the motors turn, and it actually screws down into lugs on the side of the car, in the deck lid, and draws that deck lid down and seals everything up. And I was thinking, man, if this car ever got in a wreck, or one component failed and something twisted, just trying to imagine repairing something like that would just be a nightmare. So anyway, just really crazy design. And then the other car, one of the other cars that stood out, well, two cars, I'll say this, two cars. Um, and Paul D'Amato would probably he'd like the one. It's a 60, I think it was a 68 Cougar convertible 428 Cobra Jet 4-speed, one of 7 built. And I'm pretty sure it was 68, maybe 69, but I'm pretty sure it was 68. And it was originally, I think, white. I'm going to say either white with a red top or red with a white top. I don't remember which. But this car was now triple black. So I don't know if the guy's going to restore it back to original colors or not. But I mean, imagine that. This guy, I guess he drove it to the show. I don't know. I was there when I got there, so I don't know. And then the last car that was there that really stood out to me, and it actually won a trophy for Best of Show, was a 58 Buick Riviera Special, I think is what it was called. So when you say 58 Buick Riviera, you can't, I couldn't just pull that car up in my mind and go, oh, I know what that car is. Time for coffee. Hold on. I can picture a 58 Chevy like that. I can picture 58 Cadillac. Even a 58 Oldsmobile I can picture that. But this 58 Buick, I see it sitting there. And the car's yellow with, I think, a white roof. Two-door, by the way, two-door hardtop. And it had about, I think, 3.5 tons of chrome on it. Literally. Chrome everywhere. Giant bumper, giant grille, chrome going down, stainless, and all kinds of stuff on it. Well, I started looking it over, and when from a distance, I thought 58 Impala. And then as I got closer, I thought, oh, no, that looks like a 58 Cadillac. And then I got closer and closer, and I saw the Buick symbol, and I was like, wait a minute. So I ended up meeting a guy, and, he talked about the car, and we looked it over. It was gorgeous. And it had a Continental kit on it. So this car was probably close to 24 feet long. It had a Continental kit on it. I swear it was 2 feet sticking out the back. In fact, when I went to talk to the guys, they were sitting on the bumper, on the back. And I was like, man, if you back this up to a lake, you could fish off of it. You could have your dock. But anyway, really nice guy. Got to talk to him and a couple other guys. And all that said, what I think was probably the highlight for me of the evening was I had driven the Model A. So you've seen the pictures probably or the videos of the Model A, and I haven't had it out in, I don't even know when I had it out last. I think I had it out either early this year or late last year. I don't remember. And I had a fan belt fail on it. And so, of course, when they do that, they overheat. And I got it home, parked it, and I hadn't touched it. But I thought, I need to get that out and take it to the cruise in. Well, when you let a car sit for a period of time, the battery goes dead. I had to air up the tires. I had to push it out of the garage. I had to jump start it. Finally got it running. Drove it up and down the road a few times. And, of course, I fixed the fan belt. So I took it to the cruise in. And I just kind of, I parked it away from everything else. I really wasn't worried about whether people wanted to, give it an award or anything. And I did my thing. And I eventually worked my way back over there. And there were people there looking at it, of course. And there was a young couple there, and they had a 20-month-old kid who they were asking me about it, and he ends up climbing all over it, which I didn't care. Fine. I don't, he's not going to hurt it. And then they wanted pictures, so they sat in the car, and then I had other people start showing up and asking questions. So it gave me a really good opportunity to talk to people about a car that they probably would never really understand anything about. If you're not familiar with, well, the Model T is pretty crazy as far as a vehicle goes, mechanical wise, but the Model A is really, to me, a glorified tractor is what it comes down to. It's just a glorified tractor. But people look at it and they realize that it has wooden bows in the roof and chicken wire and matting, and there's wood all through the car, and there's a mechanical throttle on the steering column, and you can advance the timing on the steering column, and the choke that comes through the dash, and where the gas tank is, and all these different things. And so I had a pretty good time because it gave me a chance to talk like I do here, but also to explain things to people, and they had a better understanding of why and how these cars operate, little idiosyncrasies of the car, and some of the design features and why and how and whatnot. So it was really good, and I like that kind of interaction because if somebody just goes and they look at a car and they just assume or don't are afraid to ask questions, then they might feel like they're being dumb by asking a question. I'm like, no, go ahead and ask. I'd rather explain it to you and give you a better understanding of it. But anyway, so that was a cruise in. Had a great time with it. The next one is in 2 weeks, and I'll probably take the Model A again and just hang out and talk to people. So let me see who we have here. Victor Maldonado, just started watching all your videos. I'm starting a restore on my 65 Mustang Coupe. Wish me luck. I give you good luck. And you get a bell. Crafty Cousins, I've been watching Jade, and it's been giving me a better view of working on the car. Good. All right, Wingward, we'll get you in a minute, Dave. Got a lot of people chiming in. David Stepp just chimed in from Oakland. See, there you go. Terry Baptist, I have a 96 F-150 with twin I-beam suspension with negative camber. I attempted to fix my negative with adjustable camber bolts. It didn't work. So should I replace my springs and shocks next? I don't have a good answer, Terry. I haven't worked on that design, so I don't have a good answer for you. Sorry. If anybody else has any answers for Terry, by all means, help him out. Car Guy Troy, any idea how to polish magnesium without scratching? VW engine case, long story, working on my son's Gia. Quicker I get the motor back in, I can get it back. I can get back on my 67S code. No. I don't have a good answer on magnesium and how to polish that up. Again, if somebody has an answer for Car Guy Troy, by all means, please share it. Yeah, you know what, Robert? He's telling Terry there is a bending tool that has made to bend the I-beams, but those are rare. The common fix is using a torch to bend them. You know what? I do remember that. I do remember people using a torch on the I-beams, but not a fan of that system anyway. So, Randall Heath went to Costco and Staples today looking for a new printer. Looks like there's a printer storage. Went to Joe Daddy's Amazon link and ordered a new multi-function printer this afternoon. Good. All right. I'm trying to get caught up. Let's see. Dave, those Buicks have acres of sheet metal, it seems. Yes. Yeah, Ed Cucci, Cucciarella. That is when we sold cars by the foot and by the pound. Yeah. Warwagon saying same with Model A. Terry, that's with the gas pedal on the steering wheel. Well, it has a gas rod, a lever to control the gas, but it does have a gas pedal, by the way. My son's turning over his 31 Model A. His great grandfather bought it new in 31. Man, that gets 2 bells. That's impressive. Let's see. 777, my teacher restored a 59 Cadillac Eldorado Baratz convertible. Amazing old car. Yes, that is an amazing old car. Dave, I hope you're still there. I'm going to try to get you on here just a second. 68 Sang says, mother's aluminum mag polish works great. At least on aluminum radiator it worked. Okay, good. I'm not sure how it's going to work on magnesium, though, if that's what he's trying to get taken care of. All right, well, I don't know where you went, Dave. You were there. I was just getting ready to pull you up, too. All right, we'll get to you. Nandu, when I go to car shows, I like to ask questions, but some people don't want to be bothered. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I had, as I was taking pictures, I found a Gremlin X. I don't know what year, but a Gremlin X. And next to it was an AMC Pacer wagon. Talk about an odd collection of cars. The guy that owned them was sitting there, and he used to work for AMC building those cars, which I thought was really cool. And so I was taking pictures, and he's like, I took a picture of the Gremlin on the side of the car, and he's like, well, don't forget the one on the gas cap. So I went to the gas cap, took a picture of that Gremlin. Don't forget the one on the steering wheel. So I went to the steering wheel, took a picture of that gremlin. You know, it was just really cool to see those cars. And it was a lime green Gremlin X. Nice, solid car. The Pacer had wood trim on the side, you know, classic wood trim, and it was a wagon. And he said something about it's like the only year for the wagon or something. I don't remember the actual what he said, but really unique cars. War Wagon says use never dull to polish. Harvey, I think they make offset upper ball joint bushings to correct camber issues on the Ford Twin I-beam. Well, there you go. There's another possible answer that you could look into. Let me see what I've got going on here. Oh. Car Guy Troy dry ice blasting will detail your VW engine without scratching, but will not polish because it is non-abrasive. All right. Dave, I don't know what happened. Do I need to send you another link? Because I don't know what happened. We'll try this again, just in case. I'll send you another link. I know I'm trying to get you on. It's showing you there. Terry Baptist Model A was way before my time. Well, yeah, it was before my time too. I mentioned before my grandfather's Model A he bought in '58. My dad was 16 at the time. They got it running. My dad drove that car to high school. My mom and dad went on their first date in that car, and I can remember being, 5 years old and sitting on my grandfather's lap and steering the car. So that's my memories of the Model A, and of course now it's in my garage. So let me try this. All right, Dave, I sent you another invite, so maybe try that again. I don't know what happened, but we'll try it again. Hang in there. We'll get you on. All right, good numbers tonight. Got 64 showing currently. And look, I hope to have a video together either, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, that I'm going to have a video together on that internal frame coating stuff from Eastwood. Now, got a gnat trying to get me. Come on. So, anyway, I'm working on a video, and if you see, there's a pile of rusty metal right here. Hopefully you can see that, maybe. Those are the rocker panels from the Brooklyn Pony, the old rocker panel, the rusted out stuff. So what I decided to do is I'm going to make a video demonstrating how to apply that stuff. And the difficulty is doing it on the car, you can't see the end result. You just can't see what it's doing. So I'm doing some demonstration videos, and I'm also going to be able to show you what it looks like inside those rocker panels. I think it's going to be a pretty cool video. So hopefully I've got the initial process in place. I still need to actually do the spraying, but have a heads up for that. That'll be coming. And I think it's going to be popular even beyond, the core group of people that watch the Mustang videos. I think people will find it very interesting. At least I hope so. But that's what that is. That is all right there. And also, I doubt, I'm letting everybody know right now that I doubt there will be a live stream on Thursday. It doesn't look like there will be because I'm making a trip. And in fact, if you look over here and you see that shirt hanging there on the wood on that box, that is a shirt that belonged to my uncle. And my uncle passed away earlier this year. So my daughter's going back to college. She's heading out. Bye. So my uncle passed away earlier this year. And after he'd had some, ongoing health issues, and it was it was time for him to go, honestly. And he knew that. And I got to spend a day with him before he passed. And anyway, I point out that over there because that is a shirt that I have had in my possession for, let's see, how old am I? I'll bet you at least 40 years I've had that shirt. It's one of my uncle's army shirts. And I've had that. I used to wear that at the junkyard when I'd work on cars. He used to give us, he used to bring, growing up in Pennsylvania where it's cold, we used to be really cold in the winters. He would give me and my brother all kinds of old military gear. And that's one of his shirts from the 70s. Okay. And so anyway, we'd be wearing combat boots and military gloves and all kinds of military stuff, trying to stay warm in the winter, field jackets, stuff like that. And anyway, I've kept that shirt all this time, and it has actually been hanging. It used to hang in my house garage, and it's been hanging in this garage ever since I built it. And the reason for that is it's kind of like, kind of like he's here with me. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those things that he's still here with me. So anyway, that's what this weekend I'm traveling back to Pennsylvania, and we're going to be spreading his ashes. So that's why it's unlikely that I'll be able to pull off a Thursday live stream, but there's a chance. But more on that later, but there is a chance. There may be something else that I could do on Thursday, hopefully. And if it works out, well, we'll see. It's going to probably work out one way or another, but again, whether it's a live stream or not, I don't know. Along with that, I want to point out that this coming Monday, I don't see me doing a live stream either. Other things going on, and if all goes well, I won't be in the area. So just saying that, normally what I try to do, if I do have a live stream that I'm going to put up, I get on early and do StreamYard, and I put a notification, So if there's no notification, there won't be a live stream. Just trying to give everybody a heads up on that. Okay. But on Thursday, there's a window of opportunity. There's a window. And if it works, you'll see why I'm talking about it like this. But if it doesn't, well, there'll be something else later that comes into play. So, shh, it's a secret. It's a secret. That's all I can say. Samuel Lisa Smith. Some of the best people anyone could ever meet are at car shows. True. True. I made 2 new friends this week at the car show. I don't know what that is. Terry Baptist, AMC Javelin was a car to have if you wanted to go fast and look cool. That is true. That was a very cool looking car. I cannot argue that. David Stepp, I use internal frame paint from Eastwood to use in the channels of my grabber hood. See, and that's another idea. I was probably going to take that material and do the deck lid for Jade, at least. I may do it on the Brooklyn Pony. I don't know yet. But that was another demonstration that I was looking to do. Pedro Barbosa, tell us a funny story about a car repair experience. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about that a minute. let me think about that a minute. It just doesn't come right to my mind. Oh, Jorge's back. Good. Terry, I remember the time when I used my own 84 F-150. Okay. Phone signal's not happy. All right. Terry Baptist with a straight 6. I put ethanol gas in my truck with a carburetor gas. Was pouring everywhere. Big mistake. Oh, okay. All right. We're going to try to get Dave on. See if he can get his phone, his phone signal to work. So here we come. Here's Dave. There he is.
Well, hey, Barry.
Hey, how you doing?
Much better. I don't have to be as quiet as last week when I was at work.
Yeah. Now you're at home. You can be loud and boisterous, and nobody will look at you funny.
That's right. So Let's see.
Uh,
Can I turn this sucker around so that it's looking in front of me?
You can, however you want to turn it. I know there's a way to flip the screen, but I don't remember how. I know Harvey had to deal
Well, I'll
with that
tell
and
you
he
what.
figured it out.
I'll tell you what.
But
Let's just the whole idea that I threw across for Barry to consider was over the course of the projects I've been working on, there's a number of tools that I've just made from scratch at home because they help me get the job done and I don't have to buy them.
nice.
So anything for free is worth saving up for.
Yeah.
But
Good point.
so I'm going to give the viewers and I'm not going to bore them and go through all of them unless they want to see them. But here, I'll turn it so you can kind of see. I had to come in the house because the phone's not happy in the garage. But
Okay.
one of the tools I made is an alignment system, so you can actually align your car at home, and you don't have to take
Okay.
it to somebody and do an alignment. If people have ever heard of the Shelby drop, I think everybody's familiar. Well, you may or may not be familiar with the template that you would need to do that. So that's something else you can make. If anybody's doing any rear end work, it's really easy to make a third member bracket so that you don't drop it and ruin the third member. I don't know how I'm doing here with the camera.
No, you're not bad.
And then I don't know about you, but I don't have a selection of spanner wrenches. So
Right.
when I need a spanner wrench, I basically make one.
Yeah.
So this one is specifically for Ford 8-inch and 9-inch rear ends. When you put in a new gear set and do the mesh, you have to get the pattern right, and that's done by using a certain spanner wrench. Well, there's no reason to go out and have to buy that. It's just as easy to make one with the center distance you need. And then another tool that actually is probably one of the most handy is a simple wrench to tighten up and install the trunk tensioning springs.
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I'm not even sure if somebody makes one specifically for that, but it ends up that after making a couple different prototypes, it worked out really good. And then this whole idea started because you talked about how you're going to be putting out a video on the Eastwood
Frame coating.
internal frame encapsulator.
Yes.
And I ended up using that on the front frame rails of my car.
Right.
But it's really difficult to get in there, and you want to get all the loose scale out. So just so you know, there's a little bit of shade tree mechanic work, but take a Sawzall blade, okay? There, Sawzall blade, weld it to a shaft so that it's long enough to get all the way in, and then just the cheapo Harbor Freight wire brushes
Oh, yeah.
really quickly become squares when you
Yeah.
jam them in there. And then you get the reciprocating action of the recip saw, and you get all the heavy scale out without having to try and use a chain. I've watched a bunch of
Right.
videos of other people trying to do it, and they talk about putting an attachment on a drill where you put a piece of chain on or something else. And I think some of that would work, but I just wanted to share that since we all need to practice welding, it makes a
Yeah.
lot
There you
of
go.
sense to practice by taking an old worn out Sawzall blade. And this happens to be a stair rail
Yeah. I see it's
spire.
decorative. I see it's a decorative tool too.
Well, we're not going to just go halfway around here. We're going to
Yeah.
go the whole way.
Yeah. I mean,
So
if you're gonna make it nice.
one other thing is I think I told you I made custom subframe connectors for the car.
Okay.
So it makes a lot of sense. You want the two sides to be the same shape. I
Yes.
apologize for the camera. I'm doing my best here, Barry.
That's okay.
So basically the design that I found on the internet for the subframe connectors has two
Mhm.
angles. And between the two sides, you want them to be symmetric. So by making a gauge, just using a miter saw, I'm trying, just using a miter saw, it allows you to have that same angle everywhere it's needed. And so both sides come out perfectly square.
Nice.
So yeah, the spanner wrenches for the rear end. I really think there's really not much to it. When it comes to the trunk spring rod, you have to make sure that it's not so long that it doesn't swing, but
Yes.
it's really just a couple holes. There's not
Right.
much, there's not
I've
much
seen
to it.
I've seen designs online where, again, basically what you have there with a hole and a notch in it, so that you can grab
Oh,
onto
okay.
the end of it and
Yep.
take it loose.
Right. Well,
Yep,
and it's the other thing is, there's multiple positions for those spring rods,
that's true.
and you don't always know how far you're going to have to go, and it works such that you can put it in any of the different positions without worrying about it unwinding on you too much.
Now I'm curious about your alignment setup. It looks like what, old like bed rails, something along those lines, angle iron.
Yeah, I like finding stuff for free and using it. So that ends up being some bed rails I found on the side of the road, and
Yep.
just basically made them into T's that are a flat plane. And then each of them, there's a certain distance when you inscribe a circle around all three that it's the same size as the rim on your wheel.
Okay.
And that allows you to then use a digital angle gauge, and you can do all your caster and camber adjustments. I don't know if you've seen, was it Tony D. Branda in that catalog? It
I
gives
have
you
not.
some of the caster and camber values that you should use, because if you follow the stock settings, they're not necessarily performance driven. So all you have to do is go online to Tony Branda, look up the alignment specs that they provide. And yeah, I just wanted to give a real quick show of some of these simple tools. There's a lot of other stuff in the garage, but I wanted to start out simple and see if
Yeah.
people had any interest.
Well,
So
the alignment. Now are you talking about the thing that the T's that you've made?
yep.
You take the wheels off the car,
No.
or no?
Nope. So you actually, if I could figure out how to
Okay,
turn this.
here let me give you a quick tip. Derek Pro says, tell Dave to press the camera symbol at the bottom of the phone screen. It should flip the screen. He says he finally worked that
Camera.
out. So that didn't work.
Oh.
I remember Harvey was saying there was another way you had to do it, and I don't remember what it was. If there's like
Cam
another
lights,
screen up and down
camera,
or something, it
front
says,
camera. Oh, look at that. We're at the back camera.
did it say front? Uh-oh. That's not it. Either that or you just turn the camera all the way around and just hold it away from you and kind of aim it like you're, kind of target it in.
Yeah,
But go ahead and
I would
explain
think
how
that it
those.
should be the front camera, but anyways.
You would think, but who knows? Oh, that's not good. We lost him entirely. Okay. Lost you entirely. We'll try to get him back on. All right. So I've sent Nick an invite, and we're going to see. Dave's trying to get back on. Let's see if we got Dave back. There he is. All right.
Hey,
You're back.
technical difficulties 101.
Yeah.
Trying to make it easier for people to see, but I got to get this figured out.
Yeah. So those attach. How do you attach those?
So literally the T is facing upside down,
Okay.
and the the three screws that are all in the same plane,
Yeah.
they actually go on the inner rim of the steel wheel, or the wheel itself.
Right.
And then you can bungee it to the wheel on the wheel.
Right. Okay. Now that makes
And
sense.
so then basically the whole premise is once you figure out where true level is, using a digital level, you can do offsets on it really easy.
Yeah.
So once you find true level, you can put it on in both attitudes, and you can get really close by adjusting your strut rods and the eccentrics on the lower control arms, and just get it dialed in to match those specs. I had put new rear leaf springs in the car originally,
Right.
and then started replacing some of the suspension. And once it was tight, you could tell it wasn't driving right. And I know a lot of places don't know how to do alignments on these older cars anymore. So you're kind of rolling the dice that you can find somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right.
So one of the reasons that this tool is so interesting to me is I'm not really dependent on anybody else doing the work. It's up to me, and it may not be a laser system.
Right.
So it may not be quite as accurate as an alignment machine, but I'll tell you what, these Mustangs aren't looking for that much accuracy anyways.
Right. Well, see, I have a friend who I mentioned before. He has a drag car, a 68 fastback, and he has he tends to go a little overboard. He tends to go a little overboard. So he went out and he's bought the scales, and apparently they're like digital scales. You can weigh each corner of the car. But I think also you can pivot on those or something. Like you can change angles. It'll allow it to rotate the wheels.
Well, this is only part of the tool set, Barry, because I also made pivoting base plates that pivot on center point with grease between two plates.
That works.
So as long as you can move them without fighting it, it'll work.
And there's probably other ways you could the plates work pretty simply. Like you're saying, they're on grease. That's not that complicated.
No.
Of course, my mind, it already starts thinking about, I have like these caster dollies that you put underneath the wheels to move a car around. They're okay. They're not great. But anyway, something like that may work as well, just as something to give it some.
There's always more than one way to skin a cat.
That's right. But why would you?
I love cats.
Let me catch up here a little bit. Jorge says cool tools. Dave Britton says great idea. Terry Baptist checking out. Robert Bloxham is checking in. Derek Pro says very innovative. Great work, Dave. Let's see. Harvey. He says, I lost you trying to flip the camera a few times. You can flip it easier when reconnecting after you get disconnected. Okay. So I don't know what that means exactly.
You might have to practice in a different forum.
Yeah. Let's see. Good looking honky. I haven't seen that name before. Says Barry, Dave, Peter North here. Okay. I'm not. We may just have to forget about that one. I don't know. I'm not sure who that is, and I don't know that I want to know. But anyway, it's always something to come up with tools that you need just because you need them. As an example, I'll just grab something just real quick that I made. Oh, I put it in another drawer. A long time ago, I needed to make or have a fan removal tool when, I had to have I needed a fan removal tool, basically a spanner wrench, like you're saying, for taking off the fan on an F-150. I was replacing the water pump. So I made this, which slips around the big nut, and then I could whack this with a hammer and break it loose. So it was just a bunch of scrap metal, but I've used it several times and it does a job, and it's worked on other cars and trucks too. So I see you, Nick. We'll get to you in just a minute. Okay. All right. So we'll have Nick on in a little bit, but Go ahead. I want to see your car.
You want to see the car?
Yeah, I saw you go. You started teasing me there for a second. Hopefully, we don't lose your service.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know I'm taking a risk coming out here in the garage, but we're going to give it a go. So right now I'm at the point where the doors are back off again because I'm doing door jams. So last we just getting everything.
Yeah, we're losing you. Yeah. We're losing you.
So if you
not working.
Over by the window. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's not working. I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, but you're freezing up on me.
Yeah. So, I'm doing all the jams right now.
Well, it looks good though, from what I can see.
And all the fenders and everything have been blocked once. We've got all the headlight buckets and everything ready, the trunk and the hood and the front and rear valance and the rock guard. So my hope, before the snow flies, we'll get her painted. And like I was telling you, I'm a little nervous about the paint that I'm trying.
Right.
This thing, metallic. And I don't know if I'm losing you again or not.
Yeah, you're kind of jittery there. Yeah. A little jittery, but from what I'm seeing, it looks good.
So yeah, I'm going to have to go back into the basement because I can't hear what's going on.
Okay, I'm going to pull you off for a second and put up Nick. All right?
No problem.
All right, so we have Nick, and he's been on the stream before, and previously we had talked about his, I think the mini tub situation you were talking about with the back seat and had some conflict there, and you said you gave us some bad advice.
Yes, I did. It happens. I listened to a friend. That's what I get for it.
So what was the situation there?
Well, I got to go putting it in, and I noticed that the tubs actually do go into the seat a little bit. You got to shorten the frame up probably about an inch and a half on each side, basically.
Okay.
It's hard from what I can see, but you just shorten that frame up a little bit, and you can pull the extra material back, and it's really not that hard. I mean, if you're doing that, that's not much more steps,
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I got that pretty much all put in and everything, and gonna start working on the rear cross member and stuff. So I'm just chugging along,
Yeah.
I wanted to apologize to anybody that I told that,
Well, odds are there wasn't a lot of people that were in that process anyway, and so it may or may not have gone over. It may not have mattered.
Yeah, I'm sure anybody putting in is probably smart enough to notice anyway.
Yeah.
So,
but how's everything else coming on the car?
Well, work, my regular work, just I kind of just finished that quadrant. That's about it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm starting to work on that cross member, and then I'm going to start working on body work and stuff, since it'll be a little drier during the winter, and I can put heat up and all that stuff.
Yeah,
we're gonna be better for that.
Good.
I do have a question about quarter panels, but I think I want to do that on another stream because I got to set it up to be able to see a little better under there. So it's a little dark in here, and I don't really have any way to light it at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, I can show where I got installed with the quadrant, like just if you want.
What's that?
I can do a little tour of the quadrant link, I guess, if you want.
Sure. Why not?
Sure. All right. Let's see if I can figure out how to get this camera turned around.
I don't know what the trick is. It's been a conflict for a lot of people to try to get that turned around. I don't know what the deal is. There you go. What'd you do?
Okay. So you got cam mic. You hit that, and it's got front and back camera. You want to hit the camera.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But anyway, when you put your brackets, stiffeners, whatever in there,
Right.
you had to bring that in. You have to put a little patch in there to tie that all in together.
Okay.
Yeah, just like a little patch. It's not too much, and then just weld it up there. I got to finish that up. And then that used to be a hole, so that's better. It's improved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big improvement.
And I don't even know if I can get it. Let's see if I can even get under this thing. Yeah, I'm just looking here. And then I got that, put in some epoxy.
Yeah.
And you had to shorten them up. Which a little tip on them: whenever you take them out, drill a couple 1/8-inch holes and get you some 1/8-inch rod or whatever, and just kind of use them as pins. That helps a lot on that.
Good idea.
I don't know, but yeah. Let me see if I can get underneath here.
No, you're not putting in a stock fuel tank, I assume.
Oh no! I got that over here. Sorry, my garage is a mess.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, right there, stainless steel.
Nice.
Put that in there. I believe it's 15 gallons. It might be 16, but
Yeah, that's nice.
and then you got all your bracketry and stuff under here. A little for your stabilizer bar or track bar rather.
Yep.
Let me see if I can get under. Give me a second.
Now, what kind of system are you putting in? What brand?
Detroit Speed.
Oh, okay. So Detroit. Well, the differential and everything is Detroit Speed.
Yep. Oh,
Cool.
works. So you got that. You got your cross member. And
Yeah.
Yada yada.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it looks like a horror movie, but
No, it's all good. It's all good.
the light bulb blew on my deal there, and
Oh wow, yeah, that's a nice looking setup.
yeah, real strong.
I'll bet.
That's gonna be messing up on you at all. Everything's 1/8-inch plate and heavy duty.
And you got it burned in real good, right?
We'll hope so. Let me turn this around. I mean, it's what I do for a living, so I hope so.
Well, I hope so too. Yeah. If you're getting paid for it, you better know what you're doing.
Well, I'm actually an industrial mechanic, but it's part of the job. So
Yeah.
there's probably
That's
some
good.
other welders out there looking at stuff like,
Yeah,
but
that'll be trick, man. I like that.
yeah, it's getting there. It's just my job,
Yeah. Everything takes time.
Yeah. I've actually done quite a bit to it, to be honest, even if it doesn't look like it, because the whole thing was, the whole floor was gone, took everything out. So it's basically got all new underpinnings. So.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I had a conversation and it was either you or somebody else who started with one car.
That was me.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I couldn't remember for sure because I've had many conversations over the last couple of years.
It was like shaped like a banana underneath.
Yeah, I remember talking about that one and going, "Ooh, yeah, no."
Here, at least I got to keep the frame rails and everything. They were in the right spot and everything. I could just build off of that. So it was
right.
It was easier for where I'm at because I got a really dinky, not as dinky as the one guy's garage. I can't remember where he was, but
In
impressive.
Yeah, Romania.
Yeah. That was,
yeah.
He's doing
So did you just get rid of the other car then?
Yeah, I sold it to a guy. He used it for like fastback stuff, Yeah.
Well,
so he asked for the title. He might even sold it again to make some money out. Who knows?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Dave's asking what kind of what do you put in for an engine in that car?
363. Probably about 580 horse or so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
With TK on it and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jorge's asking what size tires are you going to put under it?
315s. I could do 335s, but I don't really see the need. I'm not going to really break over 600 horsepower. I mean, they'll break apart anyway, or you'll be able to break them loose anyway it goes with that kind of power. So
right.
They're fine. It's going to be more of like a autocrosser type. More tire.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So What size rims? I mean, you get what size rims? How big a rim?
18.
Okay.
18. The ML3C. If you're, they kind of look like an old Trans Am type wheel, but a little more modern.
Okay.
I want kind of like a pro touring / SCCA type Trans Am look into it and everything.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. And it's Wimbledon white, so we're going for, and then the rims are maybe like a dark bronze rim with a brushed satin lip and everything. Yeah,
that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. And I thought about doing all the stainless trim and brushing it, making that brushed. And I don't know about I'm still not sure what I want to do with the taillights. I'm not going to French them in. I was going to, but I wanted I don't know if I'm going to bronze that trim, maybe try to do the brush thing, or maybe satin black that whole back trim. I don't know. Satin black might look weird doing bronze everything else.
Yeah, that might not blend in well. You might have to draw it out and see what, just a rough sketch. Just put some colors together and see what it looks like.
If you want to put wagon wheels on the car, I'll draw it out.
Okay.
We can do that.
Well, sometimes it helps.
Hey, I know how I used to draw as a kid, and it ain't good.
Hey, since you brought that up, I'll show you this picture because last week I was going through some paperwork that I had found, an old manual I had from work, and I found some pictures on it, or I found some drawings, and I'll see if, here it is. So I'm not naming names, but this is a drawing that one of my boys made.
Yep, there's the wagon wheels.
So there's your Mustang with a machine gun.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, machine gun and flamethrower.
What's that? Saratoga machine gun. Put it on there. Some bronze.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I got my camera out of focus. See if I can get it to figure out where I'm at. There we go. So yeah, I saw that and I was just like, that's awesome. And believe it or not, I'll show one more picture because my buddy, I had a 79 Malibu at one time, Chevy Malibu, that I wanted to paint up and make, now mind you, this drawing is from 1993. Okay.
Okay.
And that was a rendition of the Malibu.
See, that ain't even bad though.
No.
That ain't even bad.
No, that's a good drawing. So anyway, I found that also in that folder as well. And I sent him a text to show him that, his artwork still lives. But it was, I can't get that focus right. Got to trick it. Make it think them. Anyway, I'm out of focus.
There you go. Just plant your face on it.
Sort of, kind of. Anyway, but it's nice to see the progress. Every little bit counts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a pretty involved job, actually. So
yeah.
I'm not bad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, camera. It's almost there. Everybody else can think they're drinking, right?
Or they think you're drunk. I don't know.
I don't know what to do. Can't get it to focus. Anyway. So you already have the engine?
No, I'm saving up money for that at the moment. It's the last expensive thing I need to get. So the rest of it's just elbow grease for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess paint, but I don't really think the Wimbledon white's going to be too expensive. So
it shouldn't be. No. Just make sure you paint everything together.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It might be somebody else painting it together. I don't know.
Well, there you go. I'm just saying. I don't know why I can't get it to. Come on.
Yeah. But the main thing that really worries me about trying to do it myself is just I got a really dirty environment and trying to get it all sealed.
Right. That is tough. That is tough.
Otherwise, I don't feel all that bad about doing it. But
Well, and it's okay to do the things you know how to do.
Yeah.
that you're comfortable with. And then, hey, if you need to have somebody else do the paint, let them do the paint, and that way, if they make a mistake, they got to fix it.
It's true. It's true. So, hey, did you ever, well, I guess you don't want to give away your internal frame coating video, but cleaning the tube and everything?
I haven't gone that far yet. Well, actually, I have an idea of what I'm going to do for cleaning it out.
Yeah.
I know that Eastwood sells a spray product that you can put in there. Man, this camera's going to drive me nuts.
This stuff. Whoops.
So there's a cleaner.
Yeah.
Pre-painting. Okay, so that's
just like a surface prep,
for the metal.
For metal or whatever. The thing is the nozzle is a little different from other cans and everything.
Right.
But it's the same from the internal frame coat to this. And that's the only thing that's really kind of throwing me off with it, when I'm trying to figure out something to paint with, other than maybe throwing the tube in a bucket of
right,
and airing it out with the airline or something.
Well,
but it only takes a couple squirts. It's not really that bad.
I had another idea, and I can show you what I have in mind. What was it? I found that. Come on, camera. I found that the nozzle fits in carb and throttle body cleaner.
Ah.
So
it did.
it pulls out and it'll fit. Okay. So that's what I'm going to try to do to clean out that tube.
Okay.
Whether it works or not, I don't know, but that's my fix.
Okay.
Man, why is this camera? Oh, hey, look, there it is. It fixed. Yeah. I had to walk away 3 times. All right. But that's what my experiment's going to be. In fact, I've already hooked it up to one of the cans and sprayed it and showed the pattern, so you can see how it sprays.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it dumped some paint pretty. At least it dumped the throttle carb cleaner stuff pretty fast. I don't know how it's going to be with the paint, but we'll find out. Let me see what some of the other comments are. Hold on just a second. Yeah. Dave is saying that David Stepp is saying to Dave he should get a range extender to boost his signal. Good looking honky. I purchased the GTX Ford Pantera in Hollywood about 5 years ago. Interesting. 777 Smitty, I've been brainstorming a cam bearing tool for a few days now. Jorge says, nice work, Nick, on doing on that. Derek Pro says, nice work. We already went over the engine and tire sizes. Dave Britton likes the rim stock, which I can appreciate that depending on the car. Randall Heath is checking out. They want to go for a ride in this Indian Chieftain before winter rears its ugly head. Wow. Okay. Go do that. Sorry. Dave Britton is talking about the taillights. He likes them stock. He's not talking about the wheels. He's talking about the taillight stock. The Planeway is checking in. And he says, if it can be drawn, it can be built, said every engineer that ever lived.
You can show you a few situations that ain't right in the flank.
All right, 68 Stang is checking out. Reese has school tomorrow, I'm sure, so he's going to bed. Good for him. Brian Francis is checking in. Cool. Yeah, we still have 52 people along for the ride, which is good. Those are good numbers. And again, it's nice to have you on here, Nick.
Thank you.
Now, the fuel tank you said is stainless, and now I'm assuming you're putting a fuel injection setup.
I don't know yet.
Oh, so it's just a stainless tank?
Yeah.
It's a regular tank?
It's kind of like a blank slate, but it's a carb tank, but it's the same tank for either or,
Okay. But now, is that tank part of the Detroit Speed kit?
Yeah. Well, no, you got to buy it, but it is their tank.
But it's something they sell.
Yeah, it's something they sell.
And it correlates to those triangular pieces that are put in to stiffen up the frame. Okay. That's pretty cool. I mean,
Man, I kind of wish I just built it myself, but no, it's great. Just don't. I'm sorry, Detroit Speed, if you're watching.
well, but the thing is, you could build it yourself because of where you work, right?
Yeah. I just the only thing I would have tried to figure out the baffling inside. It's baffled, so yeah, that's why it's the same for either or. You just gotta.
That's not that hard.
Yeah, it's not. That's why I said I probably could have just done it myself. And it's 1/8-inch steel, stainless. It's heavy. It really is. But that's a good thing for a Mustang. So, yeah,
it'll have a little stiffness.
Yeah,
you put 37 bolts around the perimeter, and you just stiffen up the whole back of the car.
Oh yeah, I think I got to figure that out too. I think I'm going to use some button head bolts and maybe weld some nuts on the backside or something like that. The lip frame rail lip.
Yeah.
Little trick. But
yeah, you can't hold that in with bungee cords.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. Probably think 9 5/16 bolts probably be enough. But,
yeah.
Maybe even probably be fine. To be honest, really.
Marshall says he likes that setup, Nick. Keep it up. So,
thanks, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Detroit Speed made stuff for the Mustangs, honestly. I knew they made it for Camaros and stuff like that, but haven't looked into it for the Mustang stuff.
Oh, they got a lot of stuff for their Mustang, actually. They just started coming out with stuff for Fox bodies, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got a 4-link coming out for them, too, I think, this month. Yeah.
Now, did they make a setup for the front, like coilover or something?
Yeah, they do, and I can't afford it. I wish I could.
Well,
$75, but it's all the geometry is amazing. It's just like new Corvette geometry, basically, from what I understand.
Okay. There's a company that I just saw some pictures of. A guy posted on Instagram that he put in his 66 or whatever, and it's by, I think, AJE.
Yeah, where you use the Fox body struts and stuff and all that.
Yeah. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's all tubular suspension deal, bracing, but it looked pretty cool to me.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard it's a little bit better for drag racing more so than corner carving type stuff.
Well, that was one of the comments. I Googled it to find out, and it talked about using different springs.
Oh, okay.
It said if you were going to do like drag racing, you'd put the 150 springs in it.
Yeah.
If you were going to be doing road course stuff, you'd put the 200-pound springs in it. And then if you were doing something in between, you'd run 175.
Which is what I was about to say, because there's another company, Missouri Mustang, or not Missouri Mustang, Gateway Mustang, I think, that makes a similar setup, but it's all original geometry or whatever, but it's strut based like that, and they use it for
okay.
So I figured, probably not 100% accurate there. I need to stop lies, apparently.
Well, I was interested in it because I'd mentioned before about the 65 Mustang I have up in the garage. That is I call it the Stray Pony, and how original that car is. Well, at this point, I can't justify putting in a Mustang 2 suspension. If that kit is a bolt-in deal, I may look at doing that because you don't modify the chassis, you don't mess it up. So just something I might consider down the road if I really get into it. Because I would like a car to handle. I mean, y'all want
to get shock towers or
no? It uses the shock towers and everything.
Well, what I'm saying is, like with the struts like that, I think you can notch them a little deeper. I believe. I'm not entirely sure on that.
It looked like it bolted into the original shock towers.
But you know what I'm saying, though? You're getting rid of the A-arm when you do that. Go to a strut system.
Well, no, it adds an A-arm. That tubular AJE setup, it adds a lower control arm.
No, I'm talking about the upper control arm. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it looks like there's no upper control arm.
Yeah, so I mean, so that's not there anymore, so you can cut into it where the upper control arm used to be. I might be talking on my butt.
No, cut into it for what?
For like putting a Coyote or something in the wider motor.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If you wanted to modify the engine, yeah, I assume so. I don't know. I didn't look at it that far because I don't want to do that. But I'm just looking at the idea of having a coilover suspension setup with basically like a strut. Is what it looks like. Lower control arm, and then of course it bolts like a strut where it has two cross bolts, and it uses the SN94
That's
spindles,
yeah.
SN95 spindles.
Yeah.
So you can put all that brakes on it and all that, and you can put the rack and pinion setup. You can bolt all that to it.
And you can still go to auto parts store and get parts.
See, that's why I was like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how good it is. I just haven't, researched it very far, but it looked like a cool setup.
Well, I heard it's great. There was a guy I was talking to at the local speed shop that had it, and he said he liked it a lot. But he does drag racing.
Right.
But yeah, he said he liked it, and he's got Detroit subs. He didn't do he just did leaf springs though. Yes, but I've heard from a couple people it's pretty good. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
bodies for however many years. So.
Well, I know that there's a bunch of different options out there. Dave Britton just looked up. Apparently, the Detroit Speed front end for Mustang is $7,500.
Yep.
So
and that's the base. I think that's the base too. It's not even the double adjustable, single adjustable shocks.
And that's probably no paint.
Yeah.
No,
well, it's all aluminum.
What's that?
It's all aluminum, but it has like reinforcement plates. I guess you'd have to paint too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if it was steel or not. So, So what are you going to do up front then if you don't use that?
Oh, Total Control Pro products. Sorry, not Pro. I don't like you saying it. It's just a coilover type. Got the Arning drop in it and already built into it and all that stuff.
Okay.
I kind of want, like I said, I'm kind of doing like a hybrid.
A hybrid, yeah.
Yeah. It's a little old school, but still keep it. That's why I didn't do the Coyote motor and everything, because I don't know. I like the way the small block Ford sounds. Coyote sounds great. It's raspy. It sounds awesome,
Right.
But some of it's just being able to enjoy the atmosphere and just the simplicity,
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, I'm sure you probably heard the recent startups I've done on Jade. I don't know if you saw that video or not. When I was painting the doors, I went and started it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just kind of motivates me too. When I hear that thing just blah 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 blah. Now I will say I gotta have windows open. It'll fog me out pretty quick. So, but still nice to hear that. Even though it's not a super race car, it still has a nice lope to it, and it just sounds good to me.
You can still make a pretty good amount of power with them with the aftermarket block and everything, which is what I'm going to have. So, I mean, I ain't really missing out on anything yet. I'm sure at some point it's going to surpass it, but
Right.
But
let's see. Car Guy Troy, CCP has a setup like you were talking about. I put in a 66 Mustang, sold the car before I got to drive it, but it's a nice kit. So he's talking about CCP. Is that what you were saying? Or did you say TCP?
Yeah, TCP, Total Control.
TCP. So I don't know if that CCP is the same or if it's
just a California something or not. I think, isn't it?
I think CPC is California Pony Cars.
The CCP.
So I don't know if that's right or not. Dave Britton says, thumbs up, guys. Yeah, by all means, throw a thumbs up on here. Clark is asking, he says, I came in late. What front end are we talking about? Combination of things. Yeah, all of them. Detroit Speed, TCI, AJE, and then you said TCP, right?
Yeah. Chris Dawson Chassis Works is the other name for it. It's the same thing, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. The CPP bolt-on kit uses stock upper arms, but has full lower A arms. Okay. Robert is what he's commenting on. Troy is saying the CCP kit keeps the shock towers, have to lose the strut rod brackets. There's a plate that replaces them with a mount for the lower A arm. Cool kit for not a lot of money. Okay. So maybe some info could be useful. I don't know. There's always another one coming out, it seems like, right? So somebody comes out with some other design.
And it's awesome, too, because, over 50-year-old cars and everything, they're still making stuff for them.
They're still making stuff for them, yep. Hindsight 6-7, sorry I was on the phone, but the plain way I resemble that remark. I can usually build what I draw, though. Yeah, he can. He can. He does a lot with tooling, a lot of aircraft tooling and stuff like that. So I forget who it was. Well, I'll just continue on for a minute here with you, Nick. So are you going to do any kind of custom interior or anything, or keep it
Yeah,
stock?
I got to. Well, I mean, I got to do something with the rear seat anyway, so I figure I might as well recover it at that point. I was
Sure.
thinking maybe PMI or something. You know, it seems to be the go-to. Or there's a guy in town that's really good too. That a couple guys have turned me on to. Maybe do.
Okay.
I don't. I kind of almost want to go red. I don't know, like dark red or something like that. It looks pretty good with white cars. I don't know how to do with the bronze. Otherwise, it'd just be black. I don't know. I haven't really given that a whole lot of thought.
Yeah. I think when I've looked at, I don't know why I default to like a buckskin kind of color,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because if you're doing the bronze, maybe that'll kind of transition into like the buckskin, where
Maybe
you can
black.
have the, what's that?
Maybe black buckskin with black accents or something like that.
That could be, maybe something to look at. Because I know I was planning to do, I had a 68 Riviera that I was going to paint like a Brandywine red and put in buckskin interiors, what I wanted to do, the browns, whatever, but sold the car. So it didn't happen. But I'm just trying to think if you have the bronze, that kind of does some accent to it. So you have plenty of time. You might figure something out.
Well, I kind of hope I can have it like running by next spring or everything. Because I'm going to have some extra time here. Work's slowing down, so
Okay.
should be
Well,
hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as my uncle comes over and hands me tools.
Well, get it done.
I try to get him on, but he just doesn't want to go. He's like, I don't want to talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
old cranky
Yeah.
guy.
There's several of us out there.
He's my tool jockey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, let's see. Hold on a second. So Derek Pro is saying white with red interior, leather, slight retro looks fantastic. And Derek's from Australia, so he's dealing with these cars over there. So
the only thing with that though is that Detroit Speed is literally making one Wimbledon white with a red interior right now. It's just like,
yeah, you don't want to copy that.
At the same time, it's a Mustang. Everything's been done. Literally everything you probably think of,
Just about.
including stuff that shouldn't have been done.
Right. Yeah. Dave Britton says, Barry, I have a question regarding the full floor pan you put in. Do you recall how much it cost back then? Right now it is $29.99 Dynacorn and $26.49 for CJ Classics. Well, somewhere in that range. I'll say that. I don't remember exactly, but somewhere in that range.
Everything's went up actually. Wood especially. Ridiculous.
Yeah, wood is crazy high from what I'm gathering. But as far as these panels, I don't know. But somewhere in that range, Dave. I know it was like maybe $2,700 at that time. I paid for the pan. I don't remember exactly, but somewhere up there. John, is it okay to spray clear over sealer? Will it last? Good question. I've never tried that. I would assume if you do it within a window of time, it would probably be fine, because a lot of times your paint interacts. So like if you put in epoxy, you usually have a window of 3 to 4 days to top coat without having to scuff it. Otherwise, you have to scuff the epoxy to get it to take the next layer of paint. So that's one of the reasons when I painted the doors for Jade, I had already had epoxy on, and it was within 3 days. That's why I painted the trim color on the grain of the door. Now, the rest of it, I'm going to have to scuff to make it hold. So with sealer, sealer is meant to be, it's meant to be sprayed thin. And you may have to check with your paint rep to see, but I can't see why you couldn't. But probably, again, within a certain period of time. Otherwise, it's not going to want to bond properly. So just consider that. Goodmunder. I love his name. I love Goodmunder Eiffels. That's just a great name. I wish I had more time to work on mine, but my day job really cuts into my spare time. Yeah.
I'm with you, bud.
Well,
gotta have money to build it though.
Yeah. Yeah. My spare time is my day job anymore. That's where I'm at.
How you liking it?
I'm still adapting. I'm still adapting. I think, and I mentioned this, I think on a Thursday stream, the biggest conflict or dilemma, I don't know what the word is, that I'm having with it is when I had a full-time job, it wasn't so much the job, but it was interacting with people. You know, like if I repaired a part, I took it to the next station, I handed it off to the next guy, might talk to him for a couple minutes, move on. You know, at 8:30 had a coffee break, go get some donuts and a coffee, you know, and talk to somebody, or, you know, and just kind of have random conversations throughout the day. And so now,
You
I
yourself
have
and I.
nothing. I'm by myself. Like my wife is babysitting our son or our grandson. So she's gone all day. I'm here with the dogs and, you know, working on a car or making a video or something like that. But it's like, I just need some conversation. You know, that's why I like this time, because interacting and, you know, and having conversations with people, it makes it feel better in a sense. But that's probably the biggest constraint that I have is it's not that I missed a job. It's just that those interactions. So, let's see. I had a comment here from Mr. Cyrano. You can do it if you spray the clear light, not heavy. So I don't have, I can only take his word for it, but if you spray the clear light, not heavy. So, Jorge says, check out Total Control Products part number TCP FCC-FD, FCOC-FD. So if that helps, I don't know. I'm sure you already have something in mind that you're looking at, but anyway, I don't know if you see that. Does that number look familiar?
I don't know. What is it?
Total Control Products. I'm guessing it's a front setup.
Oh, well, I've already got that. Yeah.
Oh, you already got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got that.
Derek says,
and all that stuff, you know.
okay.
Yeah.
Derek says, talk to Casper. That's what I do. Yeah. The friendly ghost. Dave, I know what you mean, Barry. I work by myself all the time and it tends to get lonely. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, it's just like, I think I'll just go sit in the house for a while, watch some TV, you know. It's just a different sensation, but I'm adapting and getting used to it. It's just a challenge to get there.
Yeah.
Bob Shoemaker says the COVID thing has put a kink in all our people interactions. That is true. That is very true. You know, we're going somewhere and you're wearing, you know, got to wear the mask. You can't see people's expressions and whatever.
Although with me, I'm either home or I'm working or I'm out in the car. It really hasn't changed mine too much, unfortunately. Yeah. As sad as it is. But yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, you have these doing Zoom meetings with people and all that sort of thing, but still it's just kind of, you know, you're looking at a computer screen and it's not quite the same, you know. And that's again why I said when I went to that cruise in, I was more than happy to share information just to talk to people.
Yeah.
And my wife, she's told some friends of ours, you know, she'll come home from watching our grandson, and I get up to her and I'm like, just talking to her about whatever's going on, and she's just like, leave me alone.
Back off.
Back off. Leave me alone.
I got
anyway
battery left, so I probably need to get off.
What's that?
I only got 4% battery left on this. So
yeah, I'm gonna let you go. So I'm glad you're here and you're able to share your car and that stuff, and maybe we'll get you on again.
Heck yeah, man! It was fun talking to you, man. See ya.
All right, have a good night. All right. So it was nice to see Nick and his project and his progress that he's made on that car. And I do remember the conversation we had. Seems like it had to be early last year or something, where he had a car and he had a lot of problems. And after we talked it over, he decided to get a whole different car. So I think it was a good choice. And I'm really liking that Detroit Speed setup. Looks really good. I don't know if there's a question way back here somewhere that was asking me about my job and what I did, and if I wanted to talk about it. I'm like, sure, I can talk about that. I don't remember who it was now, or if he's still on. Where's it at? I don't know. Can't find it. I know Pedro was asking about a funny story about a car repair experience, and I can't come up with anything to fill that question. I just nothing kind of clicks at the moment, Pedro. But maybe I'll come up with something later on that. I forget who it was asking. Anyway, let me see what the other comments are. Good comment, Dave. All right, so somebody asked, what I did, for work, what my job was, and I know a lot of you've already heard this, and you know it before, but I was I still am. I'm a licensed aircraft mechanic, so I have an A&P license. Also have sketchy ride. There you go. So I'm a licensed aircraft mechanic with some avionics training, and I've worked on a variety of airplanes over the last 29 years for Delta Airlines is who I worked for. And you can figure that out if you say, hey, he lives in Atlanta. Well, who else are you going to work for in Atlanta? But I went from being a sheet metal mechanic, doing major sheet metal repairs and modifications to L1011s and 767s and 757s, to doing engine sheet metal work in a back shop for several years. And then I also, from the engine sheet metal area, I started doing engine cases. And to give you an idea, just to give you some information, random aircraft information, when you look at an aircraft engine, of course, they're all circular, right? Well, you have stationary parts and you have rotating parts. Just like a V8 engine or a six-cylinder engine, you have a stationary part, which is the block. And then, of course, the rotating parts, which is a crankshaft. And then you have, the linear parts, the pistons and all those different pieces. An aircraft engine is round, and the pieces that would be considered the block are called cases. And some of those pieces are one piece, and some are half pieces, which actually bolt together up and down as you look down the body line of the engine. So anyway, there was a shop we had called the Case Shop. And I worked in the Case Shop doing sheet metal work on a variety of engines, 219s, RB211s, JT8Ds, CF680, CFM56 engines, Rolls-Royce, Pratt & Whitney, 2000, 4000, 2037, all kinds of different engines. And anyway, so I did work on the cases, or the non-rotating parts. And a lot of that is, critical work, because you have interference fit on so many pieces. And then from there, I was an inspector for 6 years, inspecting parts, make sure they were airworthy or routing for repairs and that sort of thing. And then from there, I ended up in a heat treat shop. So I ran giant vacuum furnaces, and I heat treated parts, engine parts primarily. And that was my process, was annealing parts, aging parts to a certain hardness. And that was the bulk of what I did, operating vacuum furnaces. And I had 4 of those that I operated at any one time. And it was an interesting job. We had a vacuum side to the shop, and so all the parts were run in an argon atmosphere under vacuum. And then the other side of the shop, we had giant, like regular ovens, like the kind of oven you'd have in your house, only 6 feet square type of thing, where you could put big parts in. And those ovens would generate up to, 2,000 degrees, something like that. And then the heat treat of the vacuum side, we could run as high as 2150, 2200 degrees. So anyway, that's what I did. And I did that, for 29 years, based on, different jobs throughout that timeline. Also, along with that, in 2005, I started a body shop with a partner, or took over a small body shop with a partner. And so there was a break in my timeline of working for Delta where for 15 months, I had taken a voluntary furlough and left the company because they were going through bankruptcy at the time, and started the body shop. Well, the worked me and a partner worked at a body shop for 15 months, and then I went back to work for Delta full time and was working part time at the body shop, and then eventually I was working full time at both places. So, and during that time, this was 2000, from 2005 up until 2013, running, working full time at Delta, doing all kinds of stuff at the body shop, whether it be, full on collision repairs, frame machine, restoration work, just all kinds of stuff. You can look at the videos in that time period and see the kind of stuff I was working on. And then while I was doing that, working two full-time jobs, I would also come home and work in here in the evenings. So again, if you go back, like I said, the black Camaro, that was one that I was doing while I was working both jobs. The dune buggy, a variety of things. So I had a lot of, I was probably putting in excess of 100 hours a week between the two jobs and here, and still trying to, make videos and do all that sort of thing. So I've done a lot of stuff, and that was just between the airline and the body shop and here. And then of course, everything else in life that takes up your time. So anyway, Sean Kelly, new to your channel. Lots of great info. Thanks. I just bought a 67 Mustang coupe to rebuild with my daughter. Any general tips on getting started? Well, yeah. Look it over. Basically, these cars have rust issues. Depending on what state they're from, what part of the country they're from. Don't trust. I don't trust anybody's work, honestly. But you got to look at where the rust could be, which is in the cowl, the floor pans, rear quarters, various areas. And to do that, you basically need to strip everything out. So, depending on what you're doing, if you're doing a full restoration on it, you pull the interior, pull the carpet, start looking for rust and issues and all that sort of thing. Since it's a 67, I recommend you start looking at the Jade videos that I have. Look up the Jade playlist. I have a whole bunch of videos on there about that car, and you can look and probably get some ideas of problems that I found with the Jade Mustang. But you got to find all the bad stuff first. And when you do, you work from the bottom up. I always start at the bottom and work my way up. You don't want to put on a quarter panel and realize, oh, I got to put in a floor pan. Take care of all the bottom stuff first and work your way up. So, okay. I see that, Dave. Let's see. Kuderlev, your live streams have been great to have during Coronacation. Nice to hear, car guys and gals. I haven't done a bell. You'd get a bell for that, Cooter. Exactly, Cooter. Breaks a week for me. Still in lockdown here in Melbourne, Australia. Well, I'm hoping everybody wants to hang out, even after the election, when COVID goes away, right? Just saying. Robert Adams, JTT was the last of the good, loud engines. Yeah, it was loud. I'll go for that far. Derek, one of those engines would be great in a Mustang. Be like that picture. Yeah, it would be. Hindsight, Robert, I'm still fond of the fond. I'm sure that's fond of the J79. There it is. Yep, fond. You need to rest, man. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm getting caught up now, somewhat. You can ask, hindsight 6'7". Roger knows me; he's known me for quite some time. I generally find something to do. I just, even if it's not working on a Mustang, if it's building something out of metal or fabricating something, whatever. I'm always doing more, doing stuff. I just don't want to stop. When you stop, you start to get moldy, right? Yeah, Dave. Sean Kelly says Sean Kelly came to the right place. Clark Clifford, what was today's word of the day? I think there was earlier. I think it was coronation. Kuderlev had brought up the word coronation. So that is the word of the day. I'm going to call it coronation. That's what you get, Clark. Well, you know what? Dave is trying his wife's phone, and he's in the background. I'm going to try to bring Dave on for another look at his Mustang. So let's see what happens. All right, Dave.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a more recent phone. So,
okay.
You want me to talk a little bit about what I've done?
Sure.
Or do you want me to walk? All right. So it's got new rear quarters. It's got new trunk floor, new rear frame rails. It's got, it's goofy. I shouldn't go under there. It's got new inner and outer rockers, new floors, new seat risers, new floor. Well, the very front part. I've torn the cowl apart and redone the bottom of the cowl and reused the original top cowl.
Okay.
And then I've gone through and redone the engine bay and the rear section of the front frame rails. It's got all new suspension. I'm not upgrading to one of the.
Started to lose you.
I just went old school because. Oh, okay. Still there?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Well,
so
basically, you're making me think you're copying Jade.
I might have.
That's everything I've done to Jade. Everything.
Yeah, well, I had good videos, so I could do that.
Yeah, that's the same process I've done on Jade. Almost everything.
Well,
except for the rear frame rails.
This one's crazy because I figured out it got rear-ended, and somebody cut the car in half by cutting it at the bottom of each sail panel and right at the back of the rockers all the way across the floor, and then welded the car back together with the same pieces.
Oh my gosh.
And it had buckled rockers, buckled rear frame rails. It was a mess.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Now it's straight. So
it looks good.
And I did, after talking to you the other day, where I was telling you about how I was telling you about how the bottom of the doors, like.
That's where I'm losing you. That's where I'm losing you.
Oh, you're losing me again?
Yeah, when you got over by the doors. But you were talking about how it was hitting the rocker panel and you had to modify it.
Yeah, so me and the 5-pound sledge and the 2x4 did just fine.
Good.
So, yeah, it was basically that the repo rockers are not the right shape.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
That's kind of what you get with repo parts.
Exactly.
So
par for the course.
So yeah, the whole goal here is finish the jams. I don't know if this is the right way to do it or not, Barry, but I'm going to finish the jams, put seal coat on it, and then spray it with the single stage blue metallic. And I'm going to put all the body panels back on and then do a final wet sand and then put the presidential blue metallic on the rest of the body with it back together.
Okay. So you're going to paint it assembled. Your final coat will be assembled.
Yep. So I'm going to do like all these jams, everything that would get covered. And then there'll just be one last spray on the exterior of the body when it's done.
Well, I don't know if you follow the Facebook page or not. I don't know if you're on that.
I'm not on to Facebook.
Okay. I have pictures of a 65 that we did at the body shop that I show all of that how we put it together and everything. I think I can't remember if I have specific. I know I have some videos talking about how I mask it off, but yeah, that's exactly what I do. Is I jam it out, and then I put on.
You do it the same way?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I build extenders for the rear quarter extensions, so that
Yeah.
they stay on the car, but there's a gap.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
I use all thread, and I build standoffs.
Yeah,
build
so basically
standoffs.
what you're saying is you put a standoff right here.
Basically, yeah,
Hold it
it works out to be
together.
about an inch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by doing that, your spray pattern follows the quarter onto the extension. If you still there?
Still there?
Yeah. Did you hear what I said? The spray pattern flows from the quarter to the extension,
It's
stays
unfortunate.
even. You know? You froze up on me.
Hello?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
We got new internet service, and our daughter's stuck at home, and so she used up all the data, so we only have wireless left, and the new wireless is great.
Yeah. Well, your image is frozen.
Anyways.
But anyway, what I was saying though, by doing those standoffs, you can you can spray the pattern straight across, and it looks the same. So
yeah, it's in the right orientation.
Same way with the headlight buckets. I do the same thing with those. People will make the mistake of trying to lay those extensions on a table, and they spray it, and it doesn't match. It just doesn't flow. It doesn't look right. So,
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me now, Barry, but I did the trick.
I heard you for a second, and then you froze on me. Try again. There you are. Picture's moving. Try it. No, it's not. You froze again. Okay. Let me see what else we have on the side here. Well, Brian Francis, been working my 65 Galaxy while I'm laid off. Thanks for the help. You're welcome. Dave Britton, lots of work done there, Dave. Yes, lots of work. I agree with that. Looks good, Dave. And Dave Britton says, "Oh, cool! My 68 Fastback was presidential blue. It's a nice color." I would have to look it up because I don't remember what presidential blue looks like, but I'll have to agree with you on that. Okay, it is 2 hours into it, and I think I'm done. It's been a good night. It's been some really good conversation. I had 2 different guests on, which is awesome. And like I said, Nick was on before. Dave was on before, but he was in limited capacity because he was at work and really didn't expect to be actually on the live stream. So I'm glad he was able to show us some of the tools that he was talking about. Let's see, Crash Rider, very interesting evening. Fingers crossed for live next week. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Monday night won't happen. I'm pretty sure, like really, really sure Monday night won't happen. But maybe Thursday, maybe. I really would like to try to get something going Thursday. But if I don't, there will be kind of a surprise. Just say that, kind of a surprise. So, shh, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Mr. Cyrano, new to your channel. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Dave Britton gave me a thumbs up. Thank you, Dave. By all means, throw some thumbs up on there, guys. Bill, 56 Beller, just want to stop in and say hi, Barry. Well, hi, Bill. Glad you're here. So, all right. I'm going to call it a night. But anyway, like I said, probably Thursday night or Thursday afternoon. Slim chance that I can do another live. Monday is unlikely at this point. But, there's things that are more important in life. These conversations are great. Having everybody here is great, but family is pretty important. Remember that. Okay, you probably already know that, but I'm just saying, family is pretty important. So you got to take those moments. I think that I may have mentioned this before, but there's a it's been on Facebook a few times, and Roger knows what I'm talking about, but it's the idea that hashtag make the chili, right? And that is, if you haven't heard it, the story is that these two women were off somewhere, I guess, and they were having a conversation, and one woman said to the other woman, "What are you making for dinner tonight?" And the second woman said, "Well, my husband wants chili, but," she said, "I don't feel like making it. I'd have to get to the store, get the ingredients, blah, blah, blah." And the other woman stops her and says, "No, no, no, no. Go make the chili." And the point of the story was that do the things you can while you're here. So if you have to adjust your schedule sometimes for family or friends, go ahead and do it. Make it happen. It'll pay off in the end for everybody involved. But anyway, so that's kind of the mindset that I'm trying to have moving forward, even though I've, probably tried my best to help out people everywhere I possibly can and do my thing. But think about that. Make the chili. So with that, I'm going to say good night, and maybe Thursday, unlikely Monday, but we'll go from there. And if I do, I'll try to put up a notice so that everybody knows that I'll be on. So that's going to be it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.